Hello, welcome to this tropical update for the Atlantic. Let's see what's happening. So we have subtropical storm Patty in the Azores that we talked about this morning in a quick video. So it's there. So tropical storm conditions expected in the Azores through Sunday, where tropical storm warnings are in effect. Locally heavy rains possible in the Azores through Sunday. So be aware there. They have some tropical storm warnings there in the Azores, and this will produce some more rainstorms and gusty winds there, but you like pass kind of south of the Azores, and I think you affect more heavily those southernmost islands there. So be careful. We made a video earlier today. It might eventually leave some rainstorms near Spain or Portugal. The tropical storm force winds there. The worst winds will be south of the Azores, but there'll be some gusty winds there too. And we now have this other area here, just 10%. This area near Puerto Rico and Hispaniola will still cause some heavy rains there. And then there's this guy at 70 and 80% chance array. A broad area of low pressure of the southwestern Caribbean Sea continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Gradual development of the system is expected, and tropical depression is likely to form during the next couple of days, while it moves generally northward to northwestward over the central western Caribbean Sea. Regardless of development, locally heavy rains possible adjacent areas of the Western Caribbean, including Jamaica, Hispaniola, and Cuba. Interesting, the Western Caribbean Sea should monitor the progress of the system, and a hurricane hunter aircraft is forecast to investigate it on Sunday tomorrow. So be aware, we have a new tropical storm in the Pacific, Lane, tropical storm Lane. It just remain out there in the ocean for a short period of time, and there's this other low pressure that could form there, this other system on the Eastern Pacific, but for now it's away from land. So yeah, let's see. Here's Invest 97L in the Caribbean. So uh, it's near Panama, Costa Rica, some heavy rains in those areas. So some GFS ensembles mainly take this through Jamaica, Cuba, and maybe into the Gulf. Most go to like Eastern Gulf, but some go to the Southwestern Gulf. The Canadian ensembles mainly take this just south of Jamaica or into Cuba, maybe Florida. But it's something very weak, probably just a tropical storm. And the intensity guidance shows uh, still nothing until 36 to 48 hours might be a tropical storm. Most models will only have tropical storm to category 1. Only one model or two is category 1 in 84 hours, but it may just be a tropical storm. And we don't have that many models in here, so it's not all the models that are showing development as of now. But let's see. There's here the GFS, like the 12C. So there's Patty there in the A-stars, it goes, who will release some rain in Iberia, and then shows like the storm forming there just south of Jamaica, might leave some heavy rain still in northern Colombia, and then passes there through Jamaica. The GFS takes this right through Jamaica, might be some more dangerous tropical storm conditions there, and then this goes through Cuba. The GFS is making it from Cuba, it's a tropical storm, goes there into the Gulf, kind of curves and goes near Mississippi and Florida there, and then goes away. So this is the GFS. Uh, that's good that it's not showing a major hurricane like it always does. So that's a good sign. Let's see the 12C European shows like the storm gradually develops near Jamaica, might be some very heavy rain there, but still has like a tropical depression or something by November 5th. It forms a tropical storm going to eastern Cuba, and the European takes this kind of towards Mexico or southern Texas, but as a dissipating system, so nothing crazy. Shows only like a weak tropical storm. Then there's the icon, shows there passes through Jamaica, Cuba, and kind of lingers around Florida and dissipates. So nothing crazy either. There's the Canadian, so it forms something there, goes right into Jamaica, into eastern Cuba, and the Canadian has like, it kind of goes into Florida, but as a dying tropical storm array, very weak. So let's see, that there's the Neptune, passes there through Jamaica, Cuba, and goes into Florida as a tropical storm, the Neptune. And yeah, so be aware in those areas. There's the European AI model. Does show this forms to a tropical storm pass more east of Jamaica and kind of goes into northern Florida. So be aware those areas. But for now, uh, the main threat, in my opinion, would be the amount of rainfall in Jamaica and eastern Cuba and even the Cayman Islands. So that's the main threat for now. But of course, if this is already a tropical storm when it goes into Jamaica, there'll be some damaging winds too. But we don't know yet if it will be like the European and develops more later in Cuba, or like the GFS, already a fully fledged storm into Jamaica. So because each model is like a different idea. But as the days go by, we'll know better. Just be ready, like in Jamaica and parts of eastern Cuba. Be ready for a tropical storm with heavy rain and strong winds. Even if it's not a tropical storm yet, better be ready for anything. So let's see if we have some hurricane models for this. So here, like the it's weird that they don't have it yet. Like they have Patty Lane. Yeah, it's very weird. They will have it soon. They will have it as soon as a Hurricane Hunter aircraft investigates. But yeah, we'll get more insights tomorrow. But let's see the ensembles here from the European. So shows that most tracks pass right by Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, eastern Cuba, and some of them go further west into the Gulf, but most go into Florida, northern Florida or something. But most members are just showing like a tropical depression, weak tropical storm. This will most likely be a weak to mid-range tropical storm, especially in the Gulf there. But nothing crazy. It does show still some members of this system north of Hispaniola, but nothing crazy. And there's Patty there. So let's see. There's the GFS as well. Shows shows more mess there, but does show the system there. It has a little bit stronger, right? It's just east of Jamaica, right through Jamaica, most likely through Jamaica. And then it passes through eastern Cuba. The GFS has already mid-range to strong tropical storm in eastern Cuba, and some members pass closer to the Yucatan, but most goes towards Florida or something. And yeah, and just to show the systems here, because this is a little messy, there's Patty there, and it does show this blob of disturbances there. They might, the data GFS does try to form something. There's this guy here, just north of Hispaniola, and there's this one. They'll likely be the next storm that we are monitoring. So yeah, be aware. Now for the rainfall, there's the GFS first. Let's take a look, like just in the next 36 hours. It has a lot in Panama, Costa Rica. It already has like some very high towards southern Panama, especially some parts of northern Colombia, northwestern Venezuela might get more, and Hispaniola, eastern Cuba, some already. The northeastern Caribbean shows more there too, so BR. But by this point, it won't have passed by Jamaica yet. It will be on its way. But it already shows a storm or two in Jamaica by that point. And then if I put this to 126 hours, you have passed by Jamaica, Cuba, into the Gulf. So that does show close to 8 to 10 inches in Jamaica, and especially in Panama, Costa Rica, so, almost 12 inches, and shows more in the northeastern Caribbean, a lot there, and some other areas. This site, I can't find it in millimeters here, so we'll show in millimeters in another one there. I'll just show here because there are some different models here that there aren't there, like the Canadian model. So let's see, the Canadian model still has close to 12 inches or more in Panama and Costa Rica. There'll be definitely more than 100 millimeters, almost 200 And then it shows in Jamaica this passes there close to 12, 10 inches through there. There'll be like more than 100, almost 200 millimeters, especially eastern Jamaica, according to the Canadian. Then it has this passing through Cuba, and then it has this going to Florida, close to like 4 to 5 inches already. So yeah, and it has some more rounds of storms in the Eastern Caribbean. We had some flash flood warnings in Barbados today because of those passing thunderstorms. So be aware there. There's like the icon too shows this shows it passing like near eastern Jamaica more close to 8 inches and passes goes towards Cuba or something. And then it has like in Costa Rica and Panama a lot as well, especially western Costa Rica close to 8-10 inches, and it has more in the northeastern Caribbean too. So be careful in those areas. There's the European model now, so shows more there, shows a lot in southern and eastern Jamaica. It passes through Cuba there, more than 100 millimeters, and and then it shows like as a lot in the northeastern Caribbean too, more rounds of storms on the eastern Caribbean, and shows some very big amounts still in Costa Rica and Panama, some more storms in Nicaragua and some areas. So be careful in those areas. And the Europeans still showing moisture surge in like Georgia and South Carolina, but none of the other models show that. But we'll keep an eye on that. So here in millimeters, we do have the European model until next Thursday. So it does show close to 170 and even 200 millimeters in Jamaica, around Kingston, some 170 millimeters. Further east, 172, but like Water Lane and some of those areas, all the way to 100, 213 millimeters. So this array might cause a lot of flooding there in some areas around Jamaica. So please be careful, especially when the season comes in, those heavier storms and wind and everything. So please stay safe from flooding. Uh, have a plan and be careful. So let's see, there's the GFS too. The GFS passes more over Jamaica, a little bit stronger. The GFS like 228 millimeters, some 234 millimeters, 221 to 214. So this might cause even more flooding in some areas. And it has like in Haiti, close to 200 millimeters as well. And let's see, the European just has like 110 millimeters in Haiti, so the GFS is way more. The icon has like Eastern Jamaica worse, like 188 millimeters, Kingston 127, 190 in some areas, even 200, close to 200 in easternmost Jamaica. So be careful those areas. Then the European area has the Pacific Eastern Cuba, close to 194 millimeters, Havana 92 millimeters. So be aware, there are some bigger population centers there, especially in Havana, if this passes through Eastern Cuba. So be careful as well in Jamaica. So and the Cayman Islands, like West End and the northernmost areas there, show like 148 millimeters and some other areas. So be careful there too. Some heavy rain. Southeastern Cuba might have some a little bit heavier downpours too, and northeastern Cuba too. The GFS has like southern Cuba, so 167 millimeters. Eastern Cuba, it has this passing more east of Havana, more like a little bit through central Cuba, not eastern Cuba. This is central Cuba, so be aware. And like the icon has this, doesn't have anything yet. So yeah, but does have some islands of Cuba there, shows a lot. So be careful. Down in Costa Rica, we still have like 243 millimeters in the next 5 days, 239 millimeters. So be careful. Those areas like 158, further north 245, 117 millimeters. So still some heavier downpours in Costa Rica, parts of Panama. So still be careful there. And there's the European. It shows as southern Panama, some areas of Chiman, close to 200 millimeters, and most of northern Panama, more above 100 millimeters. Most of southern and western Costa Rica, more than 100 millimeters, so be careful. Might be some flooding there still. And yeah, there's the GFS. The GFS is very insane still. It does show like some spots of Costa Rica, 700 millimeters. I don't know what happened to the GFS, but this is no joke, 700 millimeters. But I doubt this much rain will fall because the GFS is the only model showing this. All the others are like have like 168 millimeters, 160 millimeters, and so the GFS is like hallucinating a little bit, but you never know. So be aware there. You can never know. So yeah, so the GFS in Panama is like 300 millimeters too, and further north into Costa Rica. So be careful in those areas. And then it shows more in Honduras. There's some passing storms, but nothing crazy. But just this a little bit of accumulation could be in the form of thunderstorms. So be aware, shows more in Mexico, southern Mexico, Storm 2 in the Yucatan, a little bit in Belize and Guatemala, especially in the Pacific, so be aware. Now Northeastern Caribbean shows some areas like 77 millimeters, Antigua and Barbuda some 70 millimeters, 53 millimeters, St. Martin some areas 79 millimeters. So yeah, be aware. The Virgin Islands some 66 to like 55 millimeters in Puerto Rico. So be aware. There's the GFS, doesn't have as much. The icon has some 70 millimeters, 60 millimeters. So be aware there. Further south does show more showers and storms. In Barbados, close to 25 millimeters to 24 millimeters. More on St. Lucia, Martinique, uh, Guadeloupe, and Dominica and some areas. Shows more around St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada there. So be careful. Shows some in Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobago there, more than 40, 30 millimeters, and some in Trinidad as well. So be aware there, especially with those waves of showers and storms like today, those storms in Barbados. There can be some heavier downpours from time to time. So be aware. Some days maybe less, some days more. It's kind of hard to predict, but does show like Wednesday some more storms there. Shows the next week in the northeastern Caribbean there some heavier downpours on Thursday and on Wednesday too, but shows mainly Thursday here, and yeah, and more waves of showers and storms. So be aware, and yeah, there's the GFS too, shows those showers and storms there throughout the day, especially some more Wednesday, Thursday, and later on as well. And the GFS still has a bigger disturbance there, approaching like on November 10th, but nothing that crazy. So yeah, so Dominican Republic might be some storms still and still a heavier downpour too. So especially Eastern Dominican Republic a little bit heavier. Haiti, Turks and Caicos still might be some heavier downpours, close to 50 or more millimeters. Some showers in the Bahamas, some passing thunderstorms. So be aware there. And now, just for comparison, the satellite has some showers in Turks and Caicos, a storm or two in Haiti, and it has those like storms near Barbados. It has some storms in Guadeloupe now, and this is now. By the time you watch this video, it will be different. But it does show some storms in Panama now, Costa Rica, storm or two in Nicaragua and El Salvador, and southern Mexico and those areas. So be aware. And just for some estimation, this is not a forecast yet, but the European model does show some wind gusts around Jamaica as this comes close to like some 48 km per hour, 53 km per hour, especially later on Tuesday, some 61, 60 km per hour in some areas, and then this goes. But this is the European. The GFS already has a fully fledged system, like it has some 74 km per hour gusts, in like some 85 and 86 km per gust in Jamaica. So the GFS is a stronger system already. The icon is a little bit in between both. It shows in eastern Jamaica close to 86, more than 8 km per gusts, but then it goes there. So yeah, and the icon does have some stronger winds. Some parts of eastern Cuba, as this comes, especially southeastern Cuba, it has some really strong winds, and later central Cuba it has some stronger winds there. And then it goes, and the icon has some strong winds in the Keys there, Key West, and some areas, and then it goes away there. So be aware, there's like the European passes Jamaica there, shows some bigger winds near Cuba, some references in the Cayman Islands, but does have in Havana some 75 per kilometer per gusts, some 77 kilometer per gusts in some other areas, and then this goes there might leave some more rough conditions in the seas near Key West. And then the GFS does have this there. It has like a bigger system, so it has like some 85 to 90 km per gust in Cuba, and it passes through Cuba there, shows more than 100 km per gust, and then in the Keys there, some more strong winds. So be aware, but this forecast will still change a lot in the coming days.